So this is the second part of part A of the photosynthesis experiment. This time we're going to be testing if plants produce oxygen. So I've got a beaker with just some normal tap water in it. And to that tap water, I'm going to be adding a little bit of methylene blue, which you'll remember is our oxygen indicator. Just a couple of drops in there and I'll give it a swirl around just to mix it in. So you can see that that's nice and blue, which means that we've got oxygen in our water. Then I'm going to add our sodium dithionite, which you'll remember was an oxygen remover. So I'm just adding a little bit at a time, giving it a bit of a swirl, and then I'll add a bit more just until we don't see that blue color anymore, so we know there's no more oxygen in the water. So you'll see it turn clear there. We know that the dithionite has removed all of the oxygen from that water. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pouring some of that solution into a couple of test tubes. And then into one of our test tubes, I'm going to be placing Alodia, which is a water plant. So I'm just going to be grabbing a strand of that and popping it into one of the test tubes. Then I'm going to go and pop the test tubes by the science lab window so that we can get a bit of light into them and see what happens to the two solutions. So I've just popped the test tubes at the back of the science lab so they're getting a bit of afternoon sun. And if you look closely at the test tube with the Alodia in it, you'll see that it's actually already started changing back to blue in the water there. We know that blue means that we've got some oxygen in there, so the conclusion that you can take from this is that the Alodia must be producing oxygen. If you have a look at the test tube on the right that's just got the solution in it, you can't see any blue color yet. We can use that as a bit of a contrast to see that our plant is producing oxygen. We know that by the color blue that's coming in at the top of the test tube there, whereas the test tube on the right doesn't have a plant in it and we can't really see any blue color in there. So I'll just do a bit of a time lapse here. They were sitting there for about 10 minutes or so, but I'll just speed that up and you'll be able to see that blue color start to appear a bit more. So just a bit of a close-up now to help you see a bit better. You can see that there is blue starting to appear in both of the test tubes, but there is significantly more in the test tube that's got the Alodia or the water plant in it. But the test tube on the right does have a little bit of blue starting to come through. That's just from oxygen leaking in downwards from the top of the test tube.